Dining services here are controlled by the Brockport Auxiliary Service Corporation, or BASC. BASC focuses on outstanding food and facilities, value, and wellness, and is consistently ranked top among all SUNY schools. There are 9 dining locations on campus with hours of operation designed to meet students' lifestyles ranging from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the morning. BASC offers meal plan options and dining options such as vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and ethnic entrees. The main aims of dining services are to create a sense of community that comes with eating with friends in an environment designed with students in mind.
The SUNY school system as a whole runs STARS report consistently in order to recognize systems that are trying to be sustainable. This report has become more important as people have taken notice of modern food production having harmful environmental impacts. This includes pesticides and fertilizers in agriculture, contaminating ground and surface water, and long-distance transportation of food to institutions producing greenhouse gas emissions. Institutions are able to use their food purchases to support their local economies as well as encourage safe and environmentally friendly farming methods. Brockport is graded by this report based on our food purchasing methods: trayless dining options, presence of vegan dining option, avoidance of trans fats, adoption of sustainable policies for food service franchises operating on campus, institution of a pre-consumer and post-consumer food waste composting program, donation of leftover food, recyclable napkins, discounts on reusable mugs for students and staff, and reusable containers.
Sustainability is one of the biggest issues facing the modern world today. It's basically the practice of making sure that our current way of life doesn't affect people in the future in a negative way. For example, if we unsustainably draw water from the lake won't be there for future generations to use and enjoy. Our current practices, especially those we partake in here in America, are really unsustainable, and a lot of people don't want that to change. That's why it's going to take a conscious shifting of our actions to move towards being a sustainable society. But it's something that we're all going to have to take part in, as a community. Sustainability is not a way to go green. Sustainability is necessary for survival.
Using 3 separate STARS reports, we studied the dining services sustainability rating of Brockport, Oswego, and Geneseo. Brockport at 4.03 out of 8.25 was second best to Geneseo, 4.52 out of 8.5, on overall dining rating. However, Brockport was significantly better rated than Oswego, 3.31 out of 8.5. The one action Brockport is not pursuing, according to the report, is post-consumer food waste composting. Geneseo is also not pursuing this action in addition to their not pursuing reusable to-go containers. Oswego, though they are composting post-consumer food waste, are not pursuing trayless dining, guidelines for franchisees, and reusable to-go containers. Brockport's food purchasing score ranks 2.28 out of 6, whereas Oswego's is 1.56 out of 6, and Geneseo's is 2.52 out of 6. Again, Brockport ranks second of these 3 schools, meaning Brockport buys much of their food organic and locally. As for implications of these results, it can be understood from Brockport's report that we are doing as much as we can to be sustainable, coming up short only in composting and food sourcing.
SUNY Brockport is very sustainable, satisfying many of the qualifications in the second-tier levels of the STARS sustainability ratings. In the first tier of the STARS sustainability rating system, Brockport is about 40% successful, scoring 2.28 out of 6. But this, as well as the second-tier ratings, could be improved. One way Brockport could improve its second-tier portion of the rating system is by using reusable to-go containers at the cafes and tracks. Some containers given out at these locations are reusable, but not all. Tracks, for instance, uses a lot of cardboard to hold their products, but most of the time it cannot be recycled because it's contaminated with grease from the food it held. The biggest failure in Brockport's second-tier level sustainable practices is the lack of post-consumer food waste composting. Brockport has 3 main dining locations plus 4 cafes with thousands of students eating in them each day, and none of the food wastes are composted. At least 25% of the waste could be composted, and each pound that could be composted but isn't is instead taken to a landfill, filling up landfills when there's a much more sustainable way to deal with these wastes. Brockport should start a sample program asking students to separate their food waste into separate bins, one for waste and one for compostable materials. Once students are educated on what's compostable and what isn't, it would be a very easy way to lessen SUNY Brockport's carbon footprint. It would be slightly more difficult to improve the campus's Tier 1 ratings. Compared to all other SUNY colleges' sustainabilities, Brockport does remarkably well, but its food sourcing is still poor. Only 19% of the money dining services spends on food goes towards the purchase of sustainably produced foods. That means 81% of the food budget is used to buy unsustainably produced, carbon-inflicting foods. Brockport does well at buying produce from local farms, but it should work on shifting its budget so that more money goes to purchasing sustainably grown and low-impact foods. If the dining services work to slowly increase the amount spent on sustainably produced foods, it could greatly increase its STARS rating over time. As a whole, SUNY Brockport and Bask run a quite sustainable dining service here on campus, especially compared to other SUNY campuses' ratings. We may be one of the most sustainable colleges among the SUNYs, but there is definitely room for improvement in both tiers, some easier to accomplish than others.